Well, I'm sitting here and talking to entrepreneurs and leaders, and that means this is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis again. Welcome back to all our listeners. Our list continues to grow. Please continue to sign in and join our regular community and find out about people like our next expert. And that means this is the time for the Sharkey Report. Sheriff Sharkey's in the studio. Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be with you again. And I have what I think would be an interesting topic today and talking about drug screening. Last time I was on with Jonathan, we touched on it, but I really want to get your take onto what I have here for you and the information I'm going to provide to you.
Are you telling me that I have to do a drug screening?
You do not have to do a drug screening today, but if you're willing, we're ready to go. And what I want to touch on, Jeff, is why we do it. I get a lot of pushback from people. Obviously, with tree cutters or drivers, they understand, but we push for it for all employees, and people get really up in my grill. But the first reason I tell them is, according to the National Council on Alcohol and Drug Dependence, more than 70% of those abusing illicit drugs in the US are employed. So I'm not coming down on them. I'm just saying we have a big problem here, right? A lot of people are using drugs, and yes, they're working. The same report said about 16% of employees live with a substance abuse disorder. And of those, 80% of drug users supported their drug use by stealing from their place of employment. The study also reported that the highest rate of prescription pain medication disorders is from workers in the service sector. So, as I'm out here to protect my fellow businesses and people who are looking to hire people, it's a problem. And again, I'm not Big Brother. I don't mean to spy on people or go through their trash or do anything illegal, but people have drug problems, and the numbers, the stats show that they take their drug problem to work and they steal from their employers. So,
well, I'm going to go a little bit higher on the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
I have rarely worked in a family business where there wasn't issues. Well, it does, not all family businesses have issues, but all families, just about every family has issues. Every family, that's part of being a family. And to find alcohol, drugs, depression, jealousy, greed, is the majority of time. Sometimes it's a combination of all. Sometimes it's only one, but all of them are dangerous and need to be prevented. And then if you have it with your employees too, who may even see a double standard at the top, you really got yourself a problem.
They do. And again, Jeff, the process we run is very simple. And sometimes I just wonder with the trickery. It's not just the drug problems. And I'll give you an example of the trickery. So we set up the drug screen, and this is something I handle myself. I'm a very active owner. As much as I enjoy our interviews and doing this type of work, my favorite part of the day is doing the background checks on people.
Does that mean you're telling me you have a stash?
No. My favorite part is doing the background checks, and that is all. And what I do is set it up with the applicant. They have direct access to me, the person, and people wonder how they go about this process, this urinalysis. They have 3 days to get to the testing center. The reason we set up is 3 days is, of course, common sense. If a person's on drugs, we need to know about it right then. No sneaking up, no trickery, but they're informed they have 3 days to get there. What happens a lot is there's a lot of back and forth. They miss the appointment. 50% of our signups miss their appointment.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. And again, I'm very jaded. I know everybody and a lot of my friends push back and say things happen. I don't think things happen. If I want to work for you, if I want to work for Radio Entrepreneurs, bet your backside I'm going to be there for my drug screen, probably on day 1, not on day 3. So they have 3 days to get there. They go to a Quest Diagnostics. That's our #1 testing center. We use others as well. Handle all the processes with them, any problems that could go wrong. They have to bring a form with them and an ID. They take a urinalysis. Yes, you're alone. No one can go into the bathroom with you. They follow you to the door. You provide your sample. You come out, it's sealed right in front of you, and it's sent off to be tested, and we get the results within 24 hours. Unfortunately, what happens a lot, we get a lot of people who flood their system, and it shows that it's a no test. They can't test it. You have too much water in your system. Again, the other side tells me they're nervous. They're afraid they're not going to be able to go. I tend to know that a lot of people on drugs will flood their system with water in an attempt to mask the drugs. When a drug result comes back as a hit, Jeff, they have to talk to an MRO. That's called a medical review officer. I'm not out to harm anyone. There's a list of 10 barbiturates and other drugs they test for, including marijuana and alcohol. They have a chance to explain themselves. Many people are on Xanax or things for for anxiety and there's a legal reason they're taking the drugs, 50% of the times when it goes to that level, they don't reach out to the MRO officer. And then finally, we get the results back to our clients in a quick 3 to 4 to 5 day turnaround time. And we do see about 50% come back with some type of a drug screen hit on some type, matching the numbers we see from that report I quoted. So it's a simple process, but a necessary process in my mind. And it's not infringing. It's if you want to work for a company, I think they need to know that you're clear of drugs on that day. Marijuana comes up a lot. It's no different than alcohol. It's not illegal in Massachusetts, neither is alcohol, but we can't have you drunk on the job or high on the job. It's just that simple. And people fight back with me. And the word our attorneys look at is reasonable. Of course, it's not illegal and you want to do whatever you want in your own time. That's not illegal. That's fine. But to be working for me or for you or for our clients, we need to know that you're clear-headed and safe.
So what about people who say this is a civil liberties issue? What do you say to that?
Absolutely. And I hear them and I hear what they're saying. You get on a plane today, Civil Liberties Union, you know, people fought so hard. I'm not taking off my shoes. There's something that you have to sign on to work for the company. And they're not out to harm you. And you have the choice. You don't have to work here. If you feel it's a violation of your civil liberty rights, that's fine. I also tell our clients, and we sort of don't get into this too much, but you know, if you're getting someone that's argumentative already, then maybe that's going to give you an indication going right on down the line how every job is going to turn out.
So I think, you know, you remind me of something my mother taught me that I use in business. And I was, you know, getting a little bit older, and my mother said to me, I don't want you doing that. And I argued with her. And she said, Jeffrey, this is my home. We live in my home, in my rules. If you don't like it, you go live somewhere else. I'm not going to live somewhere else. Yeah. And a lot of times I'll work with entrepreneurs and I'll say to them, you don't have to explain to me. This is your home, not mine. I'm the guest in your home. It's your rules.
Absolutely. I just had someone call me the other day, Jeff, and said, you know, marijuana is not illegal after the drug screen. And I said, who's saying it is? I go, but as you just referenced, to work for the company, I think they need to know if you're under the influence, and it does stay in your system for quite some time. So your weekend activities can affect your Monday morning job. And again, the stats show that. I know drug abuse in our country, legal and illegal, is a huge, huge issue. But I think when you're spending my money and you're working for me, I need to know that you're clear-headed and you're going to make good decision. And that's what it's all about. And what we get a lot of times, Jeff, too, is that people come back. I just had one last month where the urine tested at like 150 degrees in this hot weather. So not only do you have someone who's obviously must be on drugs, but they're making that next step, that trickery to smuggle in urine, which is a whole, I mean, I don't mean to be making jokes, but it's a whole mind-boggling thing.
Well,
leave it in their car where it gets too hot in this weather.
I know some baby boomers who've been taking marijuana every day since the 1960s.
Sure.
Now, I think it's affected them to be taking it for 50 years every day.
I think so. And as you mentioned earlier, there's civil liberties rights. That's fine. At one time it was illegal. Now it's not. Do whatever you want that doesn't impact me. But when you're working for me, I don't think it's a violation of your rights. Many of the owners would say, I'll take a drug test as well. You do it, I do it. As long as our clients stay consistent and don't single out a typical type of person, weight, creed, color, age, whatever, and they stay consistent to the position, it's not a violation. It's a requirement of their job, just like they may need you to have a certain degree or skill level. It's a requirement of the job.
So Phil, do you have a mind twister for us today?
I do, and I'm gonna sort of promote myself here instead of a famous person who cheated the system. This is a background we just did, my company in the hospitality industry, on May 24th of this fine year. And it's a female, and we'll protect all the individual rights here. But here, speaking to the topic at hand, I'm gonna just read quickly the criminal record from Connecticut. February 11th, 2021, arrested for possession of controlled substance, cannabis, illegal operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and failure to drive in the proper lane. Pending court date, June 23rd. So this person won't be into work tomorrow. But as we go back to the history, people are like, well, that's not so bad, Phil. But let me just quickly go through it, Jeff. January 2015, larceny in the 6th degree. February 2015, larceny in the 5th degree. June 2015, criminal trespass, 1st degree. These are all guilties, by the way. Step back, February 2015, possession of controlled substance, marijuana. March of 2017, illegal use of drug paraphernalia. And then a larceny in the 4th degree, sentenced to 3 years time served, which was suspended, but due to a violation of probation in April of 2017, sentenced to 6 months in jail. So this is a person who obviously has a drug problem, but you can see how it leads to other things. It leads to criminal trespass. It leads to theft. It leads to bad decisions. And I think there's nothing against her civil liberty rights to have that checked out before you walk through the doors.
Well, you know, everybody, once you hire somebody, it's harder to get rid of them. So you might as well screen them up front. It's Absolutely. A little expense to pay up front. And that's why Sheriff Sharkey is so important to entrepreneurs and radio entrepreneurs. Phil, if someone's looking for you, how do they do that?
Jeff, hireoff.com is our website, HIREAUTH. Number is 508-230-5901. You always get a human when you call that answers the phone. And you can also reach me at Sharkey, my name at hireoff.com. We're here. We turn the backgrounds around quickly, usually within 3 business days. And again, 30% turnout fraudulent. So, and these are people that realize a background check is going to be conducted on themselves.
A good insurance policy, the higher authority. Thank you very much, Phil. And we are going to take a break. This is Radio Entrepreneurs.